Australia, Lucas Big Daddy Browne.
Browne working behind the jab on the back foot early on.
Nice little uppercut there from Browne.
It would have been considered mission impossible, this, I think, by many pundits. Oh, big left hand, and Lucas Browne is down to 6.
Oh, lovely from Browne. Look at these uppercuts.
What a response this is. Browne trying to turn this into a war.
Clever performance here by Browne. Boxing better than I ever thought he should. Oh, what a right hand.
Wow. Shaghead is on the canvas. He's taking his time getting up. He's in trouble. Lucas Browne goes for the finish. Referee has a good look. He's staggering back against the rope. He steps in. Lucas Browne has done it.
Lucas Big Daddy
Browne. I was always upset that didn't come in towards the end. You got to have that Browne part at the end.
You had a pause last time.
That's very true. Okay. We are back for episode number 2 of the Big Daddy podcast. With me, as always, is, I'm going to call him from now on, Mr. Greg. Mr. Greg's with me doing the producing and everything else. And we have a special guest in this evening, Mr. Jimmy Seppo Kuratz. Kuratz. For those Croatian viewers, Kuratz, exactly.
Yes.
How are you?
I am good. I'm very confused. Am I supposed to refer to you only as Big Daddy the whole night? Hello, Big Daddy. That just sounds a little weird.
With that
doesn't
voice,
it?
yes.
Hey, Big Daddy.
However you'd like to call me.
I'm not going to call you. I can't call you that.
It's all on camera, so I'm not going to do anything on camera. Wait till
That's
after.
true, but it still just makes me feel gay.
Okay. So the touch on the knee.
Don't touch my knee. Again, I couldn't fight you off, but
fair enough. Sodomized, is that
you know,
correct?
here's the thing.
Sodomized?
Like if you're talking to another guy, here's what you have to do when you greet him. You say, "Oh, how you going?" You know, you can touch him here, and that's all right.
The elbow is
it's all right.
Is off, yeah.
How
awesome.
uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm standing in a cafe and a gay guy I know goes, "Did you want a coffee?" How? That's terrible. You can't touch a man on a bicep.
Biceps fine.
You cannot touch a man on a bicep.
Biceps fine.
I would sooner just let you touch my cock because get away from my bicep.
I was reading a.
I'm self-conscious about my bicep. I'm not self-conscious about my dick. That's why.
What about your elbow? Your elbow's fine.
my elbow has the same flaccid skin as my pee-pee.
I was reading up on persuasion.
Oh, were you?
And they're basically saying that if you touch, like if your hands are out in front of you and the different areas in which you can't do stuff, but the elbow is pretty much off limits because it's away from your heart, it's away from your stomach, and people accept that.
I'm not convinced. I think you need to read a little bit more about persuasion and convince me.
If I touch elbows, I've only just started. Relax. Yeah. How are you, Greg? You haven't said anything yet.
No, I'm still doing your Instagram. So we let them know that we're going to go off the Instagram. The link is in the bio. So get up there, click that, and you can come watch live on the YouTube channel and get involved with your comments. And I'll see you in there.
Okay, bye.
I am not impressed. I just had a swig of this water, and nobody done told me
sparkling.
It's sparkling. No. I mean, if I could read, I would have figured that out. But
you should have read that.
Yeah. I don't do a lot of reading.
You don't?
No, actually, and people don't know this.
Yeah.
But when you come here, like now, because I'm trying to do the immigration thing, and they made me do an IQ test.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can't do the normal one because you got to be able to read and write for that. So I had to do the one where you try to put the round peg in the square hole.
Nice, yes.
But I figured out in just under an hour you can't do it.
Chimps do well with that.
Yeah.
They do.
What's that?
The chimps.
The chimps,
They
yes.
do well with that, yeah.
I got a story about that.
Tell us
Are
the
you
story.
ready to get into the story?
No,
okay, so you know that in California they got that, well, they used to have that gorilla named Coco language because they do the pleasure principle thing where you feed it bananas. Yeah. I would say bananas.
Bananas, that's right.
I know. I also can say tomato, and I'm trying to bring back potato. I think if you say tomato, you should say potato.
Okay.
That's not catching on.
No, it's not.
Anyway. So I was up in Darwin, and they got a gorilla up there.
Yes.
But they're trying some advanced techniques with how to get this gorilla to do sign language.
Okay.
And so I know a guy, and he's introduced me to the trainer, and he says, "This is Tammy, and she's the gorilla trainer. And what she does is she's using the pleasure principle, but to get him to do the sign language, she's giving him the hand jobs. And it's very effective." And I was like, "This is fascinating." He goes, "Do you want to help with the whole situation?" I said, "I don't know anything about sign language." He says, "Don't worry, I'll go out back, get you a gorilla suit. Tammy will take care of the rest." It's a true story.
At one point, I'm like, where is this going?
I hope it ends well.
Awesome. Yeah, that's unreal.
Did it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I know now how to do sign language.
So, so your show is called Trailer Trash?
American Trailer Trash.
Sorry. See, this is Greg. Mr. Greg.
Suck the producer.
Mr. Greg.
Normally I would have said there's no such thing as Canadian trailer trash, but the Trailer Park Boys proved that wrong. So.
Okay, that's fair enough.
But we got the real trailer trash where I'm from.
And you're at the Regal Theatre.
Regal Theatre.
That's right. On Saturday, December the 12th.
You are very good.
Oh, well, it's been written down for me. Except for the American part. Thank you, Greg.
Yes. And we are already, I am very impressed. We're 6 weeks out.
Yep.
And we've already sold 60% of the tickets.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
nice.
excellent.
I was as surprised as anybody else. And I like to tell this story because it's just pops into my head. When about, 10 weeks ago, since I'm trapped here in WA, right, I have just randomly called the Regal Theatre as a joke to say, hey, I'm the only American comedian in WA. What do you think of putting on a show? Yeah. And she went, oh, you put the word American in front of comedian. I can sell that. And she goes, because there's no international acts can come over and stuff, she goes, there'll be a cancellation. Yeah, okay. So then about a week later, she called me and said, we got a spot for you. Yeah. And I was like, holy hell, we got to sell 1,000 tickets. We better get on top of this.
Nice.
Yeah. And so now we've done
Now you got to prepare a show.
Yeah, well, luckily, it's funny. The easy part is I've got to trim down my material to 50 minutes. Yeah. So that's the easy part.
You seem like a talker.
Yeah, I know. but the thing is, I have to. We've done.
Now you got to prepare a show.
Yeah, luckily, it's funny. The easy part is I've got to trim down my material to 50 minutes. Yeah. So that's the easy part.
You seem like a talker.
Yeah, I know. but the thing is, I have to limit that when I'm doing comedy. Yeah. I can't be waffling on about bullshit. Yeah. It has to be joke. Because nobody's there to listen to a goddamn TED Talk.
Fair enough.
Right?
Yeah,
I mean, if they are, they at the wrong place. Yeah. So I know that with my craft, it has to be joke after joke after joke.
Yeah, okay.
But with this kind of stuff, you'll be trying to keep this under an hour talking. I'll just talk shit about nothing.
Our first one was 2 hours, and we basically just chatted shit about nothing. It was like about myself and everything else. But yeah, we talked drugs for 20 minutes. But yeah, it was really just sort of let's get it out there. Let's have a good time with it. And my daughter was here, first time she's ever been on a podcast, so that was interesting. But yeah, we just chatted about shit basically.
Yeah. It was a good insight for people to see the Lucas as well as the Big Daddy side of things.
Yeah,
and see the bit of the family side to it.
Do you have an alter ego, so to speak? Like, is your performance?
Look, no, I don't know. The answer is when you're on stage, you're an exaggerated persona. Mm-hmm. You know, like my accent gets thicker on stage. Yeah, and I'll say stuff like, "I tell you what," not that thick, right? But yes, it's exaggerated.
So the funny brings it out. And
very much a lot of the philosophical stuff I would normally talk about, I do not like doing it on stage. Okay. I just want to talk funny. Yeah, Though the important thing is during the first kind of 3-4 minutes, you have to set the stage, I think, for me, for here's who I really am as a person, and we about to do a lot of satire, real dark material.
This is what you're getting here.
But I want them to know that I'm a caring person first, so that when I say all these other horrible things, they go, oh, I get it, it's a joke. Because if you don't do that, they're like, he is a terrible person. You're going to hell. Yeah, exactly. So.
Do you find there's a lot of sensitive people in WA when it comes to comedy?
No, it's a lie. This whole thing about you can't say stuff, there's no more freedom of speech is bullshit. Yeah. There is freedom of speech, same in America. Yeah, it's just that you too much of a pussy to engage it, right? Yeah. You afraid of the repercussions. You can say whatever the hell you want to say, you just got to deal with it. Now, the other thing about comedy audience is people think that everybody gets offended. No, it's 3 to 5% of the audience at most that would get offended by any one joke. You do a joke where you mention the word black person, right? And there'll be a couple offended people. But then when you're talking some joke about some misogynistic thing, those people aren't offended, but these other people are offended, right? You're trying to hit the 95% on every joke, right? So I don't really worry about a couple people getting offended here and there. The problem arises not from the audience. It's the bookers. It's the people doing a television thing, though, that if they get one complaint, that show's going to be off the air. They're the ones. But luckily, I'm independent. I run my own shows. I get consultants to do the advertising, all this kind of stuff. So if somebody has a complaint, they have to come to me, and I go and like sometimes like people don't want to say they're sorry because then you've admitted, and I'm happy to go, yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, well, we don't feel that you're sincere. I'm sincerely sorry.
Exactly. Yeah.
What do you fucking want me to say? I'm not sorry. get fucked.
See, I'm a massive fan of like Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
Just the way he comes out and says shit. It's awesome. You know, I love that.
It's easier to say whatever you want to say when you got $10 million behind
Of course,
you.
of course.
Like if they take everything from you still got a pile of cash.
What's the other dude from UK? He's that laugh.
Jimmy Carr.
Oh, Jimmy Carr.
Again, just this shit he comes out with.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is awesome. I love this shit. Yeah, and watch people's faces. You know?
And it's, I don't know. In time, will I become the same level as them? I don't know, but I can say this. I see a lot of comedians doing real nice material. And this is one of the things I start with, right? People doing like, I'm going to tell you a joke about my dishwasher. And Greg would have heard me say this before. I don't give a shit about your dishwasher joke unless it's a Mexican joke. Then I'm in on this. Let's hear it, right? I want that dark shit. And from what I can read from audiences, that's what they want.
Yeah.
And even we did a gig down in Mandra, right? At a place called Catch 22. And it was great. It was a great little gig. Yeah. There was a woman in the audience afterwards, right? She pulls me over to the table. I'm like, I'm about to get in trouble because she's an older woman. She pulls me over and she goes, I'm 86 years old and I'm English and I only like English comedy. I don't like American comedy most of the time. I'm not doing a very good English accent, obviously.
At all?
No, I'm not even trying. That's fine. And she's tea and crumpets. I was fucking still not doing it. Anyway, so she says, but you really made me laugh. And I was like, that's a good sign.
Well done.
So I tell a lot of really horrific jokes, but they're funny.
But especially at that age.
And people get that it's a joke.
Yeah.
But you know, it's so funny because the only time I've gotten any negative feedback is you got some stuff online where it's out of context. People don't get it. And the people commenting are not people who would buy 14-year-old kid who's struggling with their personality or whatever, you know. So they're all confused. They don't get satire. The people in the audience, when you're a comedian, I think if you are doing the social justice warrior thing, you're woke, then you're speaking to people who are under age 25. You know how many people under age 25 buy a ticket to your show? Sweet fuck all. That's how many, right? So you want to be pitching material that hits for people that are 30 to 60. That's my thoughts. Because if you're not making them laugh, then you're not giving them the product they came for.
That's a big group, though, especially considering like the baby boomers and all that sort of stuff. That's a massive group.
Yeah, but people are all the same. Funny is fucking funny.
Yeah. Richard Pryor, you know what I mean? Old school Richard Pryor.
Yeah, things do change with the times, right?
Yeah.
And so your act, even now compared to 3 years from now, well, I'll need to alter stuff. Like there's certain times I can't do. I got a joke. The joke is, right? I've been in Australia a lot, right? And sometimes I've been here so much, I feel like I'm losing some of my Americanness. And I got to do things to reconnect with my Americanness, like go into a local Starbucks or a local cinema and then just shoot the place up. Now, because of COVID in America, there have not been a lot of gun violence type of issues, so I've been able to get away with that. But right after there's been one, I can't do that joke. It'll just be silent, you know. So you got to read your audience. You got to kind of know what's going on.
Is that also a white thing, though?
What's that?
Because the black kids, they don't shoot the schools up. It's only the white kids that shoot the schools up.
Yeah, only white people are crazy.
Yeah.
Like all your serial killers are white. Name one black serial killer. If you can name him, he's the only one.
I can name one black killer. That was O.J. Simpson.
O.J., old O.J.
There's no serial.
He didn't do it. He was innocent.
Apparently.
I don't know.
The Kardashians'
They're all
father.
innocent.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was, yeah.
Oh, shit.
I know nothing about that.
Kardashians.
I try to stay out of anything that is like when people ask me, do you do any material about whether it be something that's hot in the news, like Caitlyn Jenner or Trump? I try to stay away from all of it because, like, I did a couple of jokes here, like pro-Trump jokes.
Yep.
You lose the audience.
Yeah,
75% of Australians don't like him. So now you got to spend the next 3 jokes winning the audience back.
85% of them have no idea what's going on.
Yeah,
Like, literally,
that's true.
no idea what's going on.
Yeah. So there's certain things like that I just try to avoid. Just stick to shit from my own life that's just funny.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's
But you've
fair enough.
adapted to the Australian comedy side of things well, because when I met you, it was at a show that Andy put on. It was a charity night.
Yes.
And he headlined. I was doing the sound thing. I had to flash the
And
light
this
after you've done your
motherfucker tried to
5
cut
minutes.
me off at 15 minutes. I was like,
I did not.
Settle down,
No, I did
bitch.
not, because that's the complete opposite. I was up that. I'd had a few beers at that point, and I'd flashed them their 5s, flashed them their 10 minutes. This guy jumped up. I wasn't flashing for shit. I was pissing myself laughing.
him talk,
It was like
yeah.
45 minutes or something. Like that. He's still
It
going.
was. I remember that was 23 minutes. That one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Look at that.
It's good going, man.
That's good memory.
Well, some of them I remember because I remember that one was a short one. But that was just punching and punching and punching, wasn't I?
How long does it take? Yeah, you did. Yeah, one after the other after the other. It was fantastic. How long
Thank
does it take you to come up with? What are you going to do? 50-something minutes? You said.
I will do 50. Yeah.
How long does it take you to come up with that? There's a lot of 5-minute segments that you put together over
A
time.
lot of my average joke length is 40 seconds.
Really.
Some of them though are only like.
Like the dad jokes?
What's that?
Dad jokes.
I don't really do dad jokes.
Why not? Dad jokes are the best.
I got a couple of dad jokes. I'm trying to think. I know I've got. Oh, I was talking about the problem with these millennials these days. Like I don't know if you know this. There's a thing where they have on the YouTube, and they will get an iPhone and they will take it out of the box. This is the video.
Yeah.
This is 16-year-old men.
Yeah.
What kind of stupid shit is that, right?
Yeah.
And it's called a box reveal.
Uh-huh.
When I was in high school, a box reveal is when your girlfriend's skirt was too short. That's a dad joke, kind of, isn't it? I don't know.
Well, yeah, yes.
That's the closest I can get to a dad joke.
Your very simple ones, like where would you find a dog with no legs?
I don't know.
Where you left it. Yeah, like,
Yeah, I
so
can't do any of
it's
those.
Bangs, bang. Yeah. Like,
A lot of my jokes are really just based on shit that's happened to me. You know, that's so.
But your show's an act.
good or bad?
What's
It's a
that?
performance.
Yeah, it's
what
a
you deliver
performance.
on stage is a performance.
Yeah.
It's the whole.
Well, it should be though. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just look. There's some stories that I was telling your missus earlier, right? But they don't translate well on stage.
Yep.
Because people, they have to really know you
Yeah.
to know. Okay, you're not a drunken maniac, so this story is out of character for you. And that makes it funnier,
Yeah.
right? But like, if you are telling this story that gives this kind of perception on stage, well, then they've just for the rest of the going, like at least the next 5 minutes are going, this guy's kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
So you got to skip
Just
some
a
of that
pisshead,
stuff.
pisshead asshole.
People's reactions after you got off stage was fantastic because he comes up with the accent that he puts on for it.
Yeah.
And then somebody comes, "Oh, that was a great show, well done." And he spoke like he speaks now, and they're like, "Oh shit."
I think it's funny. Like I like to at the beginning. Oh, fuck all about anything about me.
Yeah.
And just go. Not a lot of people know this. Slow. So people can get. I'd like to start with my favorite thing to start with is just to come up to the microphone. Nobody knows me. They don't know fuck all about anything about me.
Yeah.
And just go. Not a lot of people know this about me, but my milk duds. They bring all the boys to the yard. It's not the funniest joke, but it's enough to make you go, what the fuck?
Yeah. But yeah, you just got to captivate
They
the
get the
audience.
redneck straight away.
Do you know?
Oh, yeah.
So massive comedian, but he took the piss out of himself.
Right.
He'd walk up to the stage and come out, everyone cheer, and he'd go, and like what the fuck? And everyone's like, man, he goes, a little bit more on the bass, please. You know what I mean? Like, that was his opening thing. I'm like, fuck, you can't do that. You know? But he took the piss out of himself, and that was the best part about it. He could see, obviously, the issues with himself, but lightened the load with it. It was great, yeah.
So I have this, I had a naivety. Is that a word?
It is now.
It is now. That's right. When I first started, I said anybody could be a comedian. You just got to learn how to write the jokes right, to put the punchline in the right place.
Delivery, yeah.
Right? So that the final word is what reveals it. And I've seen a lot of people who have learned to do that. They still ain't comedians.
Yeah.
Because there is something to be said for you need to be comfortable with yourself on stage, whether you're taking the piss out of yourself but whatever. You need to have some kind of control over your life. You can't. And if you have like this Steady Eddie character, right? He has to first overcome the uncomfortability of when you see somebody come out like that on stage right away. It like that's what your focus is. So you have to be able to work around that before you can even start to become a good comedian.
Yeah.
And I reckon that's a 3 or 4 even start to become a good comedian.
Yeah.
And I reckon that's a 3 or 4 year process before you're even starting to accumulate material.
Yeah.
And then to accumulate, like you were asking about how long does it take to accumulate the material, over the last couple of years is where most of it has come from. You know, because every time I get on stage, now when you're first starting, you're only doing like 3 minutes or 5 minutes, and you don't know what you're doing. So out of 10 jokes you might do, Maybe 1 is effective. But then you get to the point where like 7 out of 10 are effective. So, and you're not just doing 5 minutes, you're doing 15 minutes. And if you want, and you're good enough, you can do all new material. So instead of only getting what would be 1 joke out of the time you spend on stage, you've gotten 30 jokes out, and 21 of them you're like, I have something to work with here. And the way I like to do it, and everybody's different, but I reckon this is the go, right? I take a little notepad that has 2 words on it, and it just says like, Prego shoving. That's one of my jokes, right? So I know the story. All I got to do is look at it, put it back down, and just tell the story. And then as I'm telling the punchline, look down and flip it over. Because if you are looking them in the eyes and you're smiling, it will trigger laughter. If you're looking away, you're looking down, you're not paying attention to them, and they still laugh, that's a good punchline. Right? So I just like to do that, and then I don't have to remember the order of anything. I don't even remember what order I wrote them down in, and it's all just a surprise, and you get just to see which ones work. So really, you're just throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks.
And obviously, you keep the ones that do stick. And
Correct.
You piss the
And some of them, you go, oh, I know it's got potential, but I don't know what to do with it. And you try it maybe 3 different times, and it's going nowhere. And so then you just go, fuck it, I'm done with that. But it stays written down. It stays in your files. And then like 2 years later, you come back to it. Like I had a joke, I couldn't get it to work, didn't know what to do with it. And it just popped into my head the other day, just a punchline. Right? And I was talking about it to my missus. So I have a place in Tasmania. I was going over to Tasmania, and I was doing a bunch of work over there. She goes, well, what are you doing when you're not working? I said, nothing. She goes, what are you doing? I said, nothing. She goes, what are you doing? I said, nothing except this escort. And then she was like, well, tell him I said hi. And then we were having this discussion. This is the part that popped into my head. We were having this discussion. She goes, would you ever really use an escort? I said, yeah, baby, because sex with you is free. She goes, what does that mean? I go, sometimes you get what you pay for. So, like that just popped into my head. I didn't know what to do with it. And it sat there for 2 or 3 years or something.
You're lucky you're pretty, yeah. No, most women would really get offended by that.
Yeah, most of them would. But my missus is like the toughest chick on the planet.
Awesome.
Like if she ever leaves me, I'm just gonna go gay. I'm not dealing with women again. Like that's it. I'm done. Like she is perfect. Are you listening to this, baby? You're perfect.
It sounds better than the 87-year-old lady.
Yeah. Honestly, look, I don't say a lot of nice things about my wife. No, like on stage, I don't get all sappy or anything, but we have been together for 25 years.
Well done.
Right?
Yeah,
Thank you. So she must be a keeper. And she must think I ain't total shit.
Well, you got a big dick or something.
Like a horse. Like a baby horse.
How long have you been in Australia?
On and off the last 10 years.
Okay. So you're bedded down here.
Yeah, I'm going to stay.
No intention.
They can't get rid
back.
of me. Well, if I have to, but no.
You might not have intent to go back too.
Here's the thing.
Yeah,
this is the thing.
Don't you want to run back?
America's in big trouble. And it's a shame because that's where the big market for comedy is, right?
Big market for anything almost.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
You know, whether it be fighting, or music or whatever, if you can break into that country. And because I'm American and I understand Americans, I could break in. I really believe this. I could get further and further and further with it there. But here, what is good here, my accent sticks out. My opinions on things are different than people have heard. Whereas when you go back in the States and you got these different opinions, you got to really kind of temper them.
Yeah. But also,
Otherwise, you get shot.
Same. Yeah.
Listen to the podcasts out there that the comics talk about it, like the Rogans and the Joey Diaz's, and they say how different it is state to state. So they can blow up in LA. They go to New York.
Yeah.
Suck it back a dick.
That's East Side. You can't do that on the East Side.
Yeah. This is Jamie Foxx. You know Jamie Foxx, the actor.
Love him.
Before that, he was a comedian, right?
Singer.
And a singer as well, right? Yes, of course. Because did he do Gold Digger? Didn't he do Gold Digger? She ain't nothing but a gold digger.
Yes. But he also way back in the day when he was doing all the sitcoms and stuff. He used to sing on them as well.
Oh, really?
So he's been doing it for
crazy,
very long time.
He used to have parties at his house with a studio, and Snoop Dogg used to come around recording and stuff.
Very long time. Yeah.
These people are freaks.
As
how
a talented
talented they
band,
are.
yeah.
It's the same with Will Smith.
Yep.
You know, or even The Rock, like from Gridiron to wrestling to movies. What the fuck is wrong?
The camera loves that dude, but
Yeah. What were we just talking about though?
sorry.
It was something.
America.
America. Oh,
You being the same.
All American.
7 different. America is 7 different regions.
Okay. Yeah.
So, Jamie Foxx. What he was saying is he would do all this political material, and he would do it everywhere across the U.S. He said he would go to what he called the chocolate cities, where there's a high black population.
Chicago?
He would do, like Chicago. And he would do his political stuff,
Yeah.
and maybe 20 minutes of it would really stick, right? And then he would go to some small town in Montana and do his blackest material, and maybe 20 minutes would stick. So he knew that he had right there 40 minutes that would work all the way across the entire country. And then he would just, piece things together like that.
right. Yeah.
So... you do have, there's a process because it's so many different countries essentially. Because America, I like to say, is 7 different regions. California, the West Coast, it's different geographies determine the different ideologies in America.
Yep.
So the West Coast, they don't care about laws that help grow corn. Right? And in the Midwest, where all the corn is growing, they don't care about laws that are going to help keep the mountains clean. And then in somewhere like Florida, they only care about laws that are going to make them, able to marry their animals. They're weird.
That's where everyone goes to retire as well.
Florida's weird. So you got these different countries essentially. So that means that any law that's made, most of the countries like, well, fuck that. Why are they wasting our time?
Yep.
So I think it's kind of like Russia in 1991. It'll break up, become different countries, and then it still won't be fine.
It will not be an easy process.
No, but it's either.
Gonna be an interesting end of
here's
the
the
week.
thing: it either has to happen. I believe it either has to happen by people going, "Yeah, we're 7 different countries. Let's break it up," which is not going to happen. So there'll be civil war, and there'll be 50,000 dead in the streets. Heaven forbid. But this is. I can't see it going any other way because there's no way to fix America. And I lived there a long time. And what I saw was a lot of people complaining, but nobody had any answers. And that's why they're frustrated, and that's why they're arguing so much, because nobody actually has an answer.
Yeah.
That's why I went, you know what, I'm fleeing to Australia.
Fair enough.
Because it just seems like more organized. I mean, we have problems here, I know, but...
Yeah, everyone's got problems, but I don't know if it's escalated by, if it all goes wrong, they're all armed.
Yeah, it's a problem.
100% what I was about to say. Guns.
Yeah. Look,
Wow.
there's no problem with the guns in America. The problem is the lack of laws around the guns.
That's what I'm saying.
This is a
Yeah,
horrible statistic, right? But you got 11,000 gun violence murders in America. 80% of them are black on black. Right? In America, your chances of being shot and killed by a gun or something is like 1 in 100,000. Here, it's 1 in 500,000. But if you took away the black on black crime in America, it becomes 1 in 500,000.
Yeah, okay.
So the guns are not the problem. I mean, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm not saying that's the problem. What I'm saying is this. If you are a felon in America, you're not allowed to have a gun. So if you're in the state of Illinois, I believe they have laws saying you can't buy one. But what you do is you drive 20 minutes to Gary, Indiana, where you can buy a gun on Gumtree. You say, there's your $300. You don't have to register it. Now you're a felon walking around with a gun.
Okay.
That's the problem.
See, I'm not gonna say that the police are all great and everything else, but imagine a police officer having to do a normal traffic stop, and you have no idea whether you're going to get shot or not. That's bad. You know what I mean? Like you're talking like a 95% chance in Australia that you're not going to get shot. So you're walking up, going, "Yeah, hi, how you doing?"
Yeah.
But you're walking up with your hand on your gun, ready to go in America because you don't know if you're going to get shot or not.
Yeah.
So I think that's fucked.
Look, I brought this up to some people I know, and they were very mad at me about this because, but the point is that exactly what you're saying. And so now you got these guys in America. I believe it's 20% of the police force is ex-military, right? And of them, 20% have PTSD. So now you're talking 4% of the police force. After you've been in the police for like 5 years, the PTSD is like 20%. So you have 20% of officers freaking out because they go into an area, especially if they're working inner city, but they know there's guns. They're just trying to survive, and then they're loose units already. It's a horrible concoction.
No, it
isn't
is.
it?
Yeah.
It's a small percentage, like you say, but it doesn't take a large percentage to fuck anything up.
No, it's true.
I mean, you zip across quickly to 9/11 there, and how many men did it take to bring a country to his knees?
Look, that didn't take
Well,
long.
that took an entire government to do that. That's the CIA.
That didn't take long
there
to
you go.
figure out.
You could have said there's how many men hijacked a plane.
Yeah.
But if you want to go down that road, I'm happy to go down there. But you get my point.
Yes, I do.
It doesn't take a lot of bad apples.
Yeah.
No,
for
but you know
everyone to
what it
lose
is?
the confidence in the whole force.
It's media though. Media
Media
only
hype.
portrays what they're obviously told to portray. But like a classic example for me personally is I won the world title,
Congratulations.
Did you?
Thank you very much. I didn't know.
How long ago was that?
4 years ago now.
You're still bragging about it.
Of course.
I'd be bragging about it till the day I died.
Belt's right here, my friend.
Why has that one got a rainbow on it?
That's the gay pride belt.
Oh, congratulations.
Commonwealth title.
Got it. Got
No,
it.
I won the title, got back to Sydney Airport, and there was 3 cameras there, and that was
Yeah.
it. 2.5 weeks later, when all the drugs thing come out, there was 10 cameras.
What drugs thing?
We'll get to that later. My viewers know, and I don't want to have the next 20 minutes me talking about the drugs thing again. But I was accused of taking some drugs.
Oh, yeah.
I was then cleared later on, got the belt back, no problems. But yeah, I had 10 cameras there for the drugs,
yeah.
as opposed to, oh, he actually won something. Let's go
But
celebrate it.
you know why that is. It's very simple. These things are all owned privately, I guess it is, but they're on the stock exchange. They got stockholders. So it's not like, I don't think that there's a conspiracy to go, we need to make the world worse. But what will sell?
It
They go,
sells,
look,
yeah,
we don't.
yeah.
You can't. So you got this really good story about puppy dogs and rainbows, and they go, well, that's great, but we want this thing about somebody getting shot here because we need to get our viewing up
Yep.
because our stockholders want to make money,
Yep.
and we want this business. So it's just business.
It is, yeah.
But if you view it any other way, of course, then you're fooling yourself.
That's right.
But the problem is when you're the one on that side of the camera, then like it's got to be
Yeah.
difficult. I look forward to the trouble I'm going to run into. Already I've had little bits, right, where I do some jokes and then there's people online complaining about stuff. I love it. I just go, whatever. This is gonna be
I
great.
get absolutely hammered
Yeah.
every day.
That's great.
Which is great. But we had this conversation
Yeah.
about the, what was that word you used?
The algorithms of the internet.
Algorithms.
They work in your favour.
So I've stopped blocking and deleting all the comments and people. I just
Just let it run.
go nuts.
Well, you know what? This is what I figured out when it came to comedy was the single most important factor. I could see this, right? I was talking about like you got to be able to write jokes, right? But you got to be comfortable with yourself. And the single most important factor is you got to be the toughest cunt on the planet. You got to build up a scar, just scar tissue through your jaw, just metaphorically, right?
Yeah.
For just taking punches, whether it be that you're failing on stage. I had probably a 14-year-old kid send me a message, says, your jokes are really bad and you should feel ashamed of yourself. I just sent him a message back, said, thanks, mate. Hopefully you enjoy watching the rest of them.
That's right.
What the fuck am I supposed to say?
Exactly, yeah,
like
yeah.
it's it's your issues, but you've got to be so tough, and it's not always possible because you could be the toughest cunt on the planet. Am I allowed to say cunt?
I was about to say, I told the people on Saturday, I'm not going to say this thing.
Oh shit! Sorry.
No, I love it. It's the best word ever.
You can say what you
I'm
want.
trying to adapt to Australia.
It's such a versatile word.
In America, we're not allowed to say it.
Is
So
that right?
yeah, no, it's bad. It's bad. But some of my mates in the States, they've said, what's the best part about Australia? I said, you could say the C word in regular conversation. That, and you won't get shot at the local Walmart.
I'm blocked another 5 days off Facebook because I called someone a sad C.
Oh no. Okay, I'll behave myself. Shit.
Honestly, this is what I mean, right? About the negativity of it. So you respond to that, right?
Yeah.
And you wrote it, you deleted it.
Like immediately I went, oh shit, and I deleted it. No, you've already said it.
Said it.
I'm like, but it's gone. You know, like yeah.
Banned him for 7 days.
Oh,
Yeah.
my
The day
God.
before we were kicking off episode 1 for this.
Restricted,
no.
not banned.
Restricted him. But
Yeah.
we couldn't go live on his
Yeah.
page, so we missed out on a huge audience because now you got to use mine. And my platform is nowhere near as big as Lucas's. Do you know what I mean?
I will do what I was.
So it's
gonna
stuff
do.
that's-
I would just like to sincerely apologize
Sincerely.
for what I sincerely.
You'll say it again, but
Probably. I'll try not to.
awesome.
What the hell were we on about though? What was I chatting about before I
We're
started?
talking about
The algorithm of
C
it.
words.
The algorithm of these negative comments.
Oh,
and he
yeah.
deletes them. And I said, don't delete them. Leave them on there. Because the more people that engage in your posts, obviously, it boosts you up. And more you become more visible to more people. So if somebody says something negative, what you said was perfect. You say, yeah, thanks very much, mate. Because you've added.
It's a hard balance because it's good publicity.
Yeah.
But then it can be bad publicity,
Yeah.
right? So you got number one, you got to be tough and just be like, whatever. It's just all part of the game, and be willing to lose money over it. But the important thing that I am realizing is, look, I say like when you're doing your shows, I want to hit 95% of the audience. Now I do. Once you're a known comedian, you could say that you only kind of meet 20% of the population because those are the only people who are going to buy tickets. So 100% of your audience will be that 20% of the population.
Yeah.
I'm just not at that level yet, you know.
fair enough, yeah.
But you will attract people who are like you. and you will repel those who aren't.
Which isn't good.
Well, it's no, it
you
is
imagine
good.
everyone in the room that's like me.
But that's what you want. Like that's what you're providing a service, you're providing a product.
Yeah.
Just, I think, don't maybe take my advice on this, but that's what I'm going for. You just got to be who you are. You'll attract those who are like you, and the other ones can piss off.
No, I completely and utterly agree with that. Yeah, I am who I am. I know who I am.
Yeah, there's no fighting it, is there?
I
Yeah.
was like, fuck it. Yeah. I know exactly who I am.
That's brilliant.
Yeah,
That's a big struggle for probably anybody on the planet, isn't it? I mean, you see it a lot in comedy, but in life in general, like, okay, so I was talking, I got a 12-year-old daughter, right? And I was talking to you, there's that book by Ralph Waldo Emerson, right? And it's called Self-Reliance. And the whole book is just about this. One of his quotes is, your conformity brings nothing positive to the world. Right? You need to learn self-reliance, to rely on yourself. But it's easy to rely on yourself when you're away from society, when you're away from the problems, right? And most people, when they're in society, they're around other people, they're going to conform. The great man can be self-reliant and independent even amongst the crowd. And even if that's going to affect you financially in a negative way or whatever, you got to be true to yourself. Because when you get to the other side, whatever the hell it is, let's say there's a God type of a thing, you want to be able to stand before that, and he goes, yeah, you screwed up, and you go, no, fuck yeah, I was true to myself. Right. At least if nothing else. And he'd have to respect that. Yeah. Because he's a man. He ain't no woman.
I don't,
that was controversial. I'm just talking shit.
I don't drink, you know what I mean? And like, I often go out, people go, come out and drink. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. You know what I mean?
You're just drinking your water.
I don't just drink because I want to, you know what I mean? I just, fuck it, I ain't drinking nothing. So I'm always the guy that sits there because everyone else is out in the smoking area. And I'm holding all the females' bags. At the nightclub, I'm like, yeah, I'll see you soon. Yeah, no, thanks. But that's me, you know what I mean? And I'm happy with that. Like,
have you never been a drinker?
I have been drunk maybe 5 times in my life.
Really? Yeah. That's great.
I can drink, like, it's more like a vodka thing. I'd probably vodka orange, vodka Red Bull, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But if I didn't touch a drop of alcohol for the rest of my life, I wouldn't care. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. So
I'm also not a big drinker.
Apparently you can't.
No, I can't. I'm genetically predisposed towards not being able to.
Little Asian woman, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I had some genetic testing done. We didn't talk about this before. We talked about this off the camera, didn't we?
That's correct, yeah.
I had some genetic testing done. Long story short is the gene that makes the enzyme for digesting alcohol, mine is turned down by 80%.
Yeah.
So that means after like 3, 4, 5 pints, I'm hanging off the other guys going, I love you so much. And they're going, you got to get the off of me right now. No, it's good.
Nothing wrong with that.
It's good.
Positive mindset.
Yeah.
Let's get into that.
No.
Okay.
I just want to be a negative.
I'll make a statement.
I'm kidding.
You know how you said you got the book?
Yep.
One statement that stuck with me for my lifetime, basically, or more so the second half, has been the
second half of the quote or the second half of your life.
My life.
Okay, got it.
The root of all suffering is attachment.
Yo, yeah. Is that like
Buddha, I think.
Oh yeah.
But the root of all suffering is attachment. So if you like what you said about being independent, if you can just basically remove yourself from things that
material goods and shit like that,
to lose and stuff like that, everything's just cool. And like I've not 100%, but I've got myself right to that point. Basically, besides my kids, I love my fiance, all the rest of it, but if she wants to go, says later. You know what I mean? Like there's plenty out there. But my kids are my kids for obvious reasons.
Yeah, of course.
Other than my 3 kids, I couldn't give a shit. You know, and that's great. I love where I live.
How crazy is it, right? I always said, because I had a girlfriend and she would ask everybody this question. And the question she would ask everybody, she'd say, what's your favorite food? What's your favorite game? And she had all this written down. She just wanted to record and see what people's thoughts were. And one of the questions she asked is, who's your favorite person? Right? And people would name somebody. And I said, well, it's obvious. Me. And she went, nobody's ever answered that. I said, well, if you aren't your favorite person, you got to work on you.
Biggest fan,
right?
Yeah.
Like, and so I've always, from the time I was like 17, I've always been like, I am my favorite person, because you just gotta keep working on it, right?
Yeah.
And I have said that for years, and then I had my daughter, and I said to her recently, I go, I've always said I'm my favorite person. I said, you are definitely my favorite person, and the reason is because all the good things about you, about me, I'm able to teach her. Yeah. So everything good about me, she's inheriting.
Yeah.
But all the bad things, I'm able to kind of help reduce those a bit.
Yep.
So she's almost none of the bad parts about me, but all the good parts about me.
Yeah.
And just like you just look at that person and you go, you're fucking amazing.
You could also see those bad parts and go, fuck, that was
Yeah.
me. That's me for sure.
No, I blame those on my missus. That's my missus.
Yeah. Well, see, my dad was an extremely good father in terms of always being there, came to every training, every game, the whole, like all that sort of stuff. But he was
Yeah.
never much of a talker or didn't touch.
Yeah.
There's
I'm not much of a talker either, though.
there was no hugs and kisses and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So I think it might have been my 21st birthday. It was like a handshake. Well done, mate.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. Where I take that good thing from that and put it into my kids. So
Yep.
like I'm there for every training, all the good stuff my dad did.
Yep.
But the stuff that I was lacking,
Yep.
I've then added all that. So like
That's good.
I hug them no matter what. I don't care where they are, and like they're 16, 18, they're big boys. You know what
Yep.
I mean? Give me a hug, give me a kiss, no problems. Like
Yep.
never fuck where I am. You know what I mean?
That's good.
And they've accepted that, and they like that, which is good. But like exactly what you're saying, like you just got to progress further, and that's how the world's going to get better, basically.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut
Positivity.
Positivity.
you
How
off.
do you remain positive when you get this negativity?
What's the question?
When you
I say,
get
huh?
the negativity that you're exposed to,
Yes.
with people, so even if you lose a fight, right?
Yep.
You get hammered outside the ring as well as inside the ring for
Yep.
something like that.
Yep.
How do you remain positive through all that?
See, an Australian would have made out getting hammered in the ring, being the arsehole, the ring. But
Hey.
Oh
Hey.
god damn! I didn't even think of that.
catch on.
Man, I need to get better at this comedy shit. Fuck. That's hilarious.
It comes back to I have a purpose, and I think initially because I had my kids at 19, so married and had kids at 19, and that was my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
When we're all from Sydney originally, we moved over. They moved to Perth, then I followed 2 years
Yep.
later. So my purpose was sort of disrupted there for a while because they weren't around,
Yep.
and my purpose became boxing.
Yep.
So obviously the kids are still the purpose no matter what, but being that they're 16, 18, 22, like it's not.
You have to adapt now.
Well, they're doing their own thing, which
Yeah.
is great. But boxing is still my purpose, and I still haven't finished with boxing. So no matter what people say, do, put me down, everything else, this is my purpose. This is what I'm here to do. I believe, my tattoo across the chest. I was born to do this. Yeah, it's just that's me. This is what I do. So if I let some 14-year-old kid just go, I love this
Well,
voice. Really.
This is what who was it? Chappelle was talking about how Louis C.K.'s actions had some female comedian say he derailed my dreams, right? And Chappelle said, if watching a guy beat off one time can derail your dreams, he said, sweetheart, I believe you did not have a dream. So yeah, like that's the thing, and I've copped a lot of shit when I was doing like in amateur comedy stuff because I wouldn't put up with it, right? So then they'd be attacking me, and I remember a comedian who was a mid-level guy said to me, he goes, nothing gets to you because you have a mission statement.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's it. You're on your path, and all these things coming in from the sides.
Yeah.
You're like, it's whatever. Just fucking talk about whatever you want to say. It doesn't really matter. You know, they're saying all these things, and you just go, it doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with I'm looking there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got the blinders on looking at that thing.
Yeah.
So that's the only way you can do it. If you don't have, if you don't know your what and you don't know your why, then things are going to make you crumble.
Yes.
I think Eric Thomas.
I like him. Yeah.
Yeah, he talks about that
He's
stuff. right?
awesome. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
awesome. My
Yeah,
missus hates him. I'm like, how can you hate that guy? He's awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. I
My favorite thing he talks about is when everybody else. He said, like, when everybody else is going out drinking, I'm working. When people are sleeping, I'm working. When people are doing this, I'm working.
But that voice, but as well.
What's that?
I'm working.
Oh, yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's great.
It pumps you up.
Yes. And that has to be what it's about. And you see this in comedy, and my other comedian friends have said the same thing. The guys who you can see are working hard. We were in the car and we were going down to a gig, 2-hour ride, and one of the boys said something, and I go, yeah, I don't have friends anymore. And the guy went, yeah, I don't have friends anymore. And the other guy, I don't have friends anymore, because you're just so focused on this thing.
Yeah.
You can't be all things, right? This is like people who are billionaires. They ain't good fathers. They ain't healthy.
No.
They ain't nice to be around. They're focused on one thing.
Yeah.
And so, unfortunately, there's only so much time in a day. So it's comedy and my family. Everything else, unfortunately, has gotten pushed to the wayside.
I have, though.
I don't know if that's positivity. That sounds horrible. Makes me want to cry.
At some points, I have got caught up with the negativity. And obviously, again, with the world title stuff and the drugs and everything else. And it was just constant bombarding for a good year. You know what I mean? So you got a year of your life where you can't go on social media without someone attacking you or something. You know what I mean? No one says anything in person, by the way.
Of course, no, because they don't want to get knocked the fuck out. That's why.
But I think it affected me. Then I had the one where I got knocked out, the fight I got knocked out against Dillian White in the UK. And I just wasn't there. Mentally, I wasn't there. Physically, I wasn't there. But it all came back and sort of hit me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, no, I'm fine. But I wasn't, you know?
Yeah.
And I think I started looking at too many negatives and just sort of being the negative, you know what I mean? And I lost my way in a big way, like in all little things like at home and all that sort of stuff. And if you don't look at the positive in everything, no matter what it is. So like, yes, I lost on the world stage, got knocked out flat, face down, the whole lot. But you look at the positives. Okay, now I've had a loss. I've been through it, and this is what's happened. You know what I mean? Like
this is how all these other pricks feel all the time when they fight me.
Well, dude, I'm 29-2 with 25 knockouts. So yes,
that's brilliant.
But like you have to look at the positives in everything. You know what I mean? So I still got paid. I'm still healthy. Like I'm alive. Like there's so many things you just have to be grateful for every day, rather than look at the negatives.
This is the answer to your question. How you remain positive. Your life, everything in life is dependent on only one thing, your philosophy. That's it. You either got a stable philosophy or you don't. You either go, okay, this thing happened and I'm going to let that thing affect me or I'm going to choose what it is, right? So you have to have that strong philosophy. I was saying this to my daughter the other day, is you'll see people and daddy is some multi-$100 million superstar from the movies, right? Yep. And their kids never accomplish anything. So often because they haven't gotten that philosophy, right? If you have that philosophy, it doesn't even matter how much money you're making or anything else, your life will be stable.
They also don't need it because they've already got the money.
Yeah, well, they don't. But then are their lives satisfying? No. So, and the whole point of being alive, I could only come up with one reason that we are here, and that is to seek happiness. Or joy or contentment, whatever the fuck. Semantics, you know.
Contentment, I like contentment.
Yeah, whatever. It's semantics, but you get the idea, right?
I don't care about being, a multi-millionaire. I want to be comfortable.
Yep.
That's my...
Well, now I don't like the word comfortable because Eric Thomas, one of the things that I heard him say, this is why I got into comedy, because my life was perfect. It was comfortable. And he said, your comfortable lifestyle has made you weak. And I went, motherfucker, he's right.
You have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Yeah. Meaning when I retire and shit. That's what I'm saying.
There was something, I don't know, I just wanted to say it, but we're talking about philosophy. And I think I've narrowed it down to 3 things. I don't. This is no longer funny, but whatever. I don't give a fuck. Okay, I'm gonna make it funny. I'll tell it as a joke. I tell my daughter, I've taught her what's called the 3 bitch rule. This is the key to life as a teenage girl. The 3 bitch rule. Number 1, right? If you want the world to be a good place, treat other people as you want to be treated. Not in a religious context, right? And that first rule is called don't be a bitch.
Yep.
The second one is. When going gets hard, don't complain and whinge about it being hard. Persevere, right? Work harder. Doesn't matter what color your skin is or what gender you are. Don't whinge about it. Don't be a little bitch. And the third one is you hear these negative voices, right, from other people. Focus on your own heart, on following your heart, listening to your intuition, and being who you want to be. Don't be somebody else's bitch.
Yeah, nice.
And I think, and it translates well for her now. I can say it,
exactly.
you know. But when she was 6, I couldn't tell her in those words, you know. But now she's kind of getting it because she's so innocent and sweet. And this is what I worry about: is she's going to be going to high school next year. Yeah. And my wife has been telling her as well. There'll be these girls who are just catty, little, and she's like, people aren't really like that, are they? I'm like, oh no.
And that's over here as well. She's going to go to school here.
Yeah.
So one good thing about the schools over here is that like there's the uniforms as well.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about going and impressing everyone every day with the different outfits.
Yeah, right.
I'll be wearing the same shit week after week. You know what I mean? That's what I'd be doing. But at least with the uniforms, it's just it is what it is. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I like this place. It's a good place.
I like this place.
It's a good place, man. I'll pop my mic. I was listening to that and enjoying it. But all those things you say you can do without what you said, that religious context you didn't put into it, because I don't believe you need that to be a good person.
At all.
That's because you're not a Christian.
Yeah.
If you're a
Absolutely.
Christian, the fundamental basis of it is you need the religion, because here's what the okay. I'm gonna give you. So I studied religion for 8 years.
Please do.
Right,
Yes. Yep.
not because I wanted to be a pastor. It was just something that plagued me, because in America, everybody tells you can't believe certain things because the Bible knows the only truth. And so I would ask people, well, what does the Bible say about this? And they go, well, I don't know. Ask my pastor. So then I'd ask the pastor, and they go, well, it says this, but we believe this. And I go, well, it doesn't seem to match up. And after 8 years of study, I'm talking about 5,000 hours
Yep.
of study. And I'm not talking about just reading the Bible. I'm talking about, okay, there's a phrase in there, and it talks about the Queen of the South. I want to find out who the Queen of the South is, so I'm going to read a book about that shit, and she's the Queen of Sheba from down in Ethiopia. That's who he was referencing, not just some mythical figure.
Yeah.
Anyhow, here's the conclusion I came to after 8 years. Christianity is only very loosely based on the Scriptures. The Bible is a great book. I love it from a historical standpoint, but it's only very loosely based on the Scriptures, which means most of the theology that they're coming up with, they're pulling out of thin air.
But when you say
So wait, hold on. Sorry, I forgot
Yeah,
this
mate,
part. This
carry
was the
on.
part I was supposed to be making. The most important part of the New Testament is it doesn't matter what your actions are. The only thing that matters is salvation through Jesus Christ. So it matters what you believe, not what you do, which is the exact opposite of what the Jews said, which is that your actions are what's important.
Yep. Yep.
Do 13 Mosaic laws. And Buddhism and all these other places, they say it's about what you do to or with other people. And where Christianity is different is, no, none of that shit matters. You can be a pedo as long as on your deathbed you go, I love me some Jesus. You get just a smaller mansion in heaven than the rest of everybody. The fuck? Was that too much for you, Greg?
Not at all.
No, I'm just processing it.
All right.
Give
it a minute.
He's a processor.
I can
I've
see
noticed that. No, he's a processor.
Yeah.
I
I'm just slow. That's all.
I just noticed when he was processing, there's drool.
the rocking backwards and forwards is an indication. Yeah.
Meds are wearing off.
Oh my God. I was doing a show. This is one of my first shows. And it was just like a little 5-minute spot, right? And I was just starting, don't know what I'm doing. And somebody come up out of the audience afterwards, and I do the thicker accent, right? And come up afterwards and said, I just want you to know you're an inspiration for all the other ones that got the autisms as well. I was like, the fuck?
Got the autism.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Like, thank you, I guess.
Wow.
I was speechless. Jesus Christ.
So, can you look at the Bible and see it as history though? Because
I can.
But it wasn't written way after his death by basically hearsay and all that sort of stuff. So like Chinese whispers.
Okay,
Before you
so-
go further with that,
Shut up. Nobody asked you.
no,
We've got an
But how did he
advertisement
find-
for Marlboro
processing.
smokes.
I just processed something. How the fuck did he find friends named Peter, John, and Luke
Yeah,
out in the
that's
Middle
true.
East?
That's
He
true.
didn't.
Oh, right.
So the answers to your question, number one, Old Testament was written from approximately 2,500 years ago. Well, maybe they say longer. Up until about 500 BC. Then there was this gap where nobody wrote anything. Then Jesus did his thing Jesus was actually born in 4 BC. The Gregorian calendar, they messed it up, but when they found out when Herod was actually... Anyways, he was born before he was born. So then he died somewhere around 33 AD, right? And then the first book that was written of the New Testament was the book of Matthew and Mark. And they were written in about 50 AD.
How does he die at 33 AD? It was after death?
Yeah,
So
well, yeah, I know.
Wouldn't
Yeah,
that start as one?
yeah, it should
Do you know what I'm
be.
saying?
Yes.
This is what I'm saying. There's just so many holes in everything.
33 according to the modern Western calendar.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the first book wasn't written until 50, and then Luke was written in 80 AD,
you know, that's-
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
in John in 100.
I can't base my life on something that was basically, this is my point of view, obviously, that was hearsay. I grew up a Catholic. Had to go to church every week with my grandparents. All that sort of stuff.
Blasphemer.
Yeah, 100%. Catholics, good little Catholic boy at the Catholic school and everything. You know what I mean? Fuck that shit. Yeah, it's just no.
Look,
no.
it's only strong like it is in America we got a good propaganda machine convincing people, and it's just it's weird to look at it from the outside. Even I go, yeah, it's a bit strange how strong the belief system is, because if you ask people, well, what about the Bible says this, but here it contradicts it? Nope, I don't see a contradiction.
Yeah. It's God's will.
Yeah, and what it always comes down to is, well, you just got to have faith.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all the signs, he gave me a brain to think, right?
That's
if there's a God, and everything contradicts it. No, so you know the whole story.
Everything's made in God's image as well.
That's true. So they say.
But some of the stories are crazy. Didn't somebody build a tower? They wanted to build a tower to go up and see the heavens, and God got jealous of this tower.
Tower of Babel.
Knocked it down. Yeah, that might have been it.
That's somewhere in Genesis.
But I don't get anything like that. Those stories just
look,
me.
Here's the thing. Now, some people in America, and it's a small percentage, are fundamentalist Christians, which means they take everything in the Bible 100% literally. So they believe there was that tower, and then God dispersed everybody and made their languages funny. But most Christians kind of look at Genesis and go, it's a story like, how could there have been 7 days? Like 7 days to God could have been 1 billion years. So most Christians are a little more like, no, that shit's crazy. But you get the ones like the Westboro Baptist Church. Those are the crazy ones. They're the fundamentalists, right? So those are one picketing at funerals of soldiers and stuff. Jesus Christ. Any type of extremism, right or left, Christian, Muslim, whatever it is, you can never trust anybody who's an extremist.
No. One thing I don't like about the church as a general rule is the fact that they don't have wives and children and all that sort of stuff. But when you talk about the pastor, he's able to have wives and children.
At least that's better. So, and the Mormons, they really got to figure out multiple wives.
That's right. But how are you supposed to give me proper advice and things on this is how you should treat your wife, or this is how you don't even have it yourself, you know what I mean? So
that's like, who the worst person would be giving you advice about kids would be Jesus. You ain't never had a kid.
That's right.
Can't trust him. Be like, just treat them nice and just give them love. Are you kidding me? I've been trying to put him to bed for 3 hours. He keeps getting up for lollies.
All those years he was a kid was never written down.
Exactly. It never happened.
No.
What else we got? 9/11.
Take it. Oh,
Jesus Christ.
Oh, wait, are we done?
No, we got a few minutes.
No.
Okay, so.
But like you said, this isn't funny.
This isn't funny. No, it doesn't matter. Is it supposed to be funny?
We've taken him out.
Yeah. Here's one that's not funny. So I had been here, and then I went back to the States, had flown in. I'd been here for 6 months. Flown into the States on the 7th of September, 2001. 4 days later, of course, all that stuff happened. But I had been living overseas for 2 years. Like, we've been living in England and Croatia and Kuratz, that's right. That's where my surname comes from. In Croatian, it means pee-pee. So
he said the C word earlier, but he won't say Willie.
Got back, and then people were talking about, oh my God, the reason all this happened is because terrorists hate freedom. And I said the most unpopular thing. And I said, well, look, if you're a schoolyard bully and you're going around stealing everybody's money, eventually somebody's going to punch you in the nose. Yes. They were like, you are anti-American. Like, well, I'm
pretty
logical.
Patriotic of you.
Yeah. Terrible thing to say. But the whole thing is, people say, did the government in America do the 9/11?
Yes.
And here's what I think.
I'm super convinced.
You are super convinced. Well, look, if you had all the proof in the world, you're still never going to know,
it's not
right?
Proof, because it's not proved.
Here's what I would say, though, when people ask me about it. I don't necessarily believe the U.S. government did it, but I think every time the U.S. government says something, they said that in 2008, the banks were safe. They said that Iraq had plenty of weapons of mass destruction.
That's right.
The Pat Tillman story, which I was talking to you earlier about, this soldier, he risked his life. They never told you he just got killed by friendly fire. So every time the U.S. government tells you something we're absolutely telling you the truth, you can count on
bullshit. Yeah.
They probably lying to you.
That's right. Yeah. There's just, again, so many holes in what has been said. And the plane, so it fell. No, it doesn't do that. And so many engineers have come out and said it doesn't do that. You know what I mean?
Another aspect of how those buildings fell is how many buildings fell?
3.
Right. So Tower 7 went down as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
From the embers.
So they say.
From the embers.
Yeah, that's right.
From the Twin Towers.
Yeah.
Which is how many buildings away was that?
I don't know.
So it landed on the roof.
Yeah, so hot.
That was enough that it crumbled as well.
So hot. Yeah.
Look, I don't know about any of this, so I shouldn't have brought any of this up because now I'm well out of my.
We got him.
Greg loves it.
Yeah.
Greg loves it.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm so out of my element. I have
Just
no
for
idea
our
about
viewers
anything.
at home, we will have another episode where we're going to have conspiracy theories
Yeah,
as
will.
an entire episode. So it's something to look forward to in the
Uh,
future.
I won't be back for that one. I'll have nothing to contribute.
We just got the American. We just thought we'd poke him a little. Now we know he's not armed. There.
All right. So just to cap off, we are at the American Trailer Trash.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Yay.
The show is at the Regal Theatre, and it's on Saturday, December the 12th.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just plugging that again just for
Thank
the fun
you
of it.
very much.
Just for the fun of it.
I guarantee for everybody it's going to be hilarious. Not going to be any of this 9/11 talk stuff that ain't funny. It's going to be joke after joke after joke.
Don't heckle him with airplane noises.
we should go back to dad jokes just for the end
It'll
of
be
it.
nothing but dad jokes.
So
No.
give yourself a plug there to finish us off, mate. Where can anyone find you? Instagrams, Facebooks. Where can they get the tickets?
If they just look at anything, if they just look up on whether it be Instagram or Facebook, they just look up Jimmy and then Seppo, Seppo. That's a derogatory name for Americans. And then Kuratz, Kuratz. Look that up. Or they can look up the Team America Comedy Tour on Facebook, which I'm pretty sure if it takes off too much, I'll be getting a copyright violation there. So I'm waiting for that one.
But the most important thing is Kuratz.
Yes.
Kuratz.
And Lucas, before we do wrap it up,
Yes.
you got some news.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I'm like,
You going on holiday?
fuck whatever. I've been talking to Fabio Wardley and his manager Dillian White recently about the fight. They said we're basically waiting for Eddie. Eddie's come back to me. We've had a quick chat with Eddie Hearn, and Eddie has said, yes, we're on. So I haven't signed the contract yet. That's obviously in the making. But Eddie, Fabio, and Dillian have all said yes to the terms and the money and everything else. So November 21st on the White Povetkin 2 card, I'll be fighting Fabio Wardley, who's 9-0. So
Good
going
shit.
over to bash a young fella.
There we go.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Do it for the old boys.
You know what I'm saying? He's 20. He's 25. He's 9-0. He's very fresh, and I think he's bitten off way too much.
Fuck yeah.
It's great. Yeah, yeah. So yeah.
Awesome.
After
So
you,
that's my November.
after you
December
knock him
ticket.
out, can you stand over him and just say, "Take that, millennial"?
You know what the best thing is, and I thought about it as well. Like when I headlined the O2 Arena twice. So one was Dillian White and one was Dave Allen, and unbelievable atmosphere, everything else. But I'm standing there and people are like, "Fuck you, man!" Like just yelling. You know what I mean? At the moment, it's going to be in a closed environment. So literally, there's probably 30 people in total that are there. Not one person's going to say a word to me because they're all production and this, that, and the other. So it's going to be like a sparring session where this poor bastard's going to be stuck in a ring with me. And he's going to have no backup, no nothing. Dylan White's not even going to be there because he'll be getting ready for his fight. So it's going to be me and this poor bastard in the ring together. Like, I'm
That's
loving it.
great.
It's great. Yeah,
Kind
yeah.
of takes away the home
How
advantage.
insanely.
It does. No, it
Yeah.
really does. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm excited.
Well, if it's anything like the NFL, they'll play some background cheering.
Possibly. I think, there's all like cardboard cutouts on the walls and shit. Like this. Like, the real brick.
You can hear the punches. I've been watching the live boxing without the crowd. You can hear it.
Oh,
Yeah.
blow going in.
I'm going to make sure you can hear that boom when it lands. Yeah.
That's awesome.
You hear the body shot.
Hey, after we get off the podcast, just so I can feel what it's like, could you just punch me one time right in the center of the chest?
Body shot, yes.
Yeah,
100%,
perfect. Yeah,
100%.
great. And that'll be the end of my
Have you
tour.
seen the size of my fist?
You know?
I've had it with a body bag on. It fucking hurts, mate.
Well, I don't.
He has actually, yeah.
I
And gloves.
don't want it.
Okay, so thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. This has been episode 2 with Jimmy Seppo Kuratz and the Greg. Mr. Greg. Tune in. Is it next Saturday, Greg? We're going to have another one?
Next Saturday, we're pushing for next Saturday. Yep.
I don't know who we're going to be on. We'll see how we go.
Yep.